So starting the test drive in this Tacoma TRD Sport Premium, a lot of people were disappointed when Toyota kind of came out and put the 2.4 turbos in a lot of their SUV and truck lineup. And then you know, in the Tundra you have that, I think, a 3.4 liter turbocharged, twin turbocharged V6. But these engines are so strong, they're so quick, and you know, they'll have their issues like everything else when it first comes out, but performance wise, I really like how these get up and go. Now, I don't do a lot of towing. I do hauling mostly when I'm using a truck or SUV, so I'm not really worried about towing from that aspect. And I think that's one reason Toyota decided to do this, because a lot of their customers, especially those that buy the higher trim levels, they don't do a lot of towing. They like to just have something to have it, to fit all their kids in it, and, you know, take road trips. But this Tacoma, to have the fuel economy that it has at 19 city, 23 highway, it gets up very nicely. I'm gonna put it into sport and come out of this corner here. Let's see what it does. I'm not gonna give it too much. So I put my foot down about a fourth of the way. I kind of kept pushing it, but just average acceleration is very good with this. And that's why you see a lot of manufacturers going to the turbocharged 4 cylinders, because they put in a lot of work. It kind of helps them still put out performance vehicles to meet emission standards across the world. But I mean, a turbocharged engine it's fun to put your foot into it. Now, I do think the V6 in the Tacoma was still a pretty hard powertrain to beat, just because of the reliability, especially paired with a 5-speed automatic, even with a manual transmission. And it's tried and true. It has the higher displacement, so in terms of towing, you're not having to rev the engine as high. But these are pretty reliable, having the 4 cylinders, but also in terms of working on them, it's 4 less cylinders you have to deal with if you're coming from a V8, 2 less if you're coming from a V6. Now, I will say, and I've said this because I did a review on the, I believe it was the Tacoma SR, the new body style. This rides stiffer than the Colorados and the Rangers to me. But Tacomas have always kind of had that feel, so you feel like you're in a 4Runner. And when you're going off-road, that's really what you want, to be able to feel the road. But even in this TRD Sport Premium, the seats are more comfortable, the steering wheel is more comfortable, but you still have that stiff ride there. But again, if you're trying to take it off-road and put this thing to what it was made for, it's not going to be a problem. Now, I said this earlier in the walk-around portion, but the screen here, I love how they did that. You still have room for all of your buttons and knobs. They're still easy to reach. Shifters right here. Everything makes sense, but you have this nice big screen that really isn't intruding on your visibility because you have the raised hood. And with me being taller, it's more in my way than you would be if you sat up higher. And I'm kind of leaned back just to have that wider view for the camera. But for the most part, the visibility in here is not bad when you're sitting how you should be. So if I was sitting up a little higher, dash wouldn't be in the way, hood wouldn't really be in the way. It still intrudes in the middle, but slopes down on the sides. And where I'm, you know, in the driver's seat, it helps to have that visibility, but still have a hood that looks really cool. Now I'm gonna go ahead and give it a little pull getting on the interstate here if possible. So I'm just gonna put it into sport mode. And here we go. So not giving it too much at all, but wow. Very good acceleration there, especially between that 4,500 and 6,000 RPM range. I really felt the turbo kick in, really felt a nice pull there. So I have the adaptive cruise set, lane centering, or lane tracing assist, excuse me. And a really nice setup here with Toyota Safety Sense 3.0. And I will say, even though the ride's still somewhat stiff, it rides very well coming down the interstate here. Now this stretch of interstate is pretty smooth, but still not rough. Even though, again, the ride is stiff, it's not a rough ride. And for something that sits like this does and looks as cool as it does, that's just an added benefit. Where if the ride was a bit rougher, it still wouldn't bother me as much because I'm in this good looking Tacoma here. Now I want to give one more thank you to John Roberts Toyota for allowing me to review this Tacoma today. I'll leave a link below in the description. And again, if you're looking to find the best price on one of these in your area, just click on that link down below. It takes a minute to fill out your information, and then I'll get the dealers in your area fighting to get you that best price on one of these. But overall, it's amazing how far pretty much every vehicle across all manufacturers have come. When you're looking at, let's say, a 2012 or even a 2018 Tacoma compared to this is like night and day in terms of the infotainment system, the safety features you get. I mean, I have a rear camera mirror, sliding power window, moonroof, and this one is pricey, but very, very nice. Even after paying this much money, I don't think you'll be disappointed. And the 2.4 liter turbos, although we don't have a lot of data on them because they haven't been out as long, feel like these are going to be a pretty good engine where you get fuel economy and hopefully very good reliability. But with all that being said, this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2024 Toyota Tacoma TRD Sport Premium.